Okay, now you're going to take these little pieces here.
A and B from sheet 3 and 6. So they're both shaped the same. So one comes from sheet A and the other 3, and the other one comes from sheet 6. They'll go in these notches here. You'll see that little notch. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Goes in there, and this goes up through there. May take a little bit of persuading, but it'll go in there. That one went in fairly easy. This one needs a little work because of the hot glue. Put hot glue in there, so you got to be careful when you're putting that glue on. You don't put it in places where it doesn't need it.
Okay, so it says do not glue these pieces, so don't put glue on them yet. I'm not really sure why we're not gluing it yet, but that's what the directions say, so we're going to follow that.
The small pieces from sheets 3 and 6 go in these little openings here and slide them down so they touch. Now, the front porch assembly that you got off of and had setting on the side, it's a little hook on that one end. You want to hook that behind here and then slide these pieces together. Because if you don't, if you put these together first, you'll never be able to get those little pieces in there. And when you're putting it together, make sure that these go right in there. Like that. And you can see it's not perfectly square in there, so that's one fault that we'll run into so far. See how they don't line up square? They're a little angle cocked. The notches are not properly cut out. So until we got a little further into the directions and a little further into the assembly, you don't know if that's going to have an effect on it or not. But that's how they got to go.
And you want to make sure that porch is pushed flat down with the bottom base of the door so that everything's level. All right, so now you want to punch out the floor from from sheet 1. And then you want to punch out the attic floor from sheet 2. Go ahead and punch that out. I'm not going to bore you with punching out all these pieces. I'm just going to tell you from now on what pieces that you need to punch out because we've already shown you how to do it.
Did you do this? Alright, you already know that you got the first floor from sheet 1, the attic floor from sheet 2. Also, in this 2-line step 4 is the front wall from the left from sheet 6, the left wall from sheet 5, the right wall from sheet 4, and the center support from sheet 2. So you might as well get sheet 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 out and punch all these pieces out and mark them and set them on the side.
And sand them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we told you to cut out the center support here on sheet 2. That's this piece here. Go ahead and cut that out and sand it and prepare it.
Alright, as we said, when you're punching this out, damage occurs, so you can see here where pieces of it broke out. Now this is the center support. It has 2 notches in it. These 2 notches go in here, and behind this notch in the bottom, you'll see that little notch in the bottom, there's a small hole in here. That goes into that little hole and into those 2 notches, which would be like that. If I can get it in there. There, and it don't quite line up, so you'll have to modify it a little bit. The notches don't line up properly. So you just have to maybe shave off a little bit of it to get it in there. But that's how it'll go.
Turn around.
As you can see, these notches don't quite line up perfect.
They go in, but they're just not even. So you might have to just take a little bit off of like the tab
Just
or...
a shave it just a hair.
So that it's not going out. See how right here it wants to pop back out? That's because that's too tight. So you need to just sand it or shave it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, you want to go ahead and put some glue on your tabs once you have it to where it's going to fit. And then put it back in there. I would not use hot glue for the corners of your dollhouse because right here is where the wallpaper's got to meet up. Okay, so at this point you need to square that up and then you can tape it to hold it until it dries. Make sure your wall is completely square.
If you don't have a square, you can take a piece of paper and fold it in half and just use the paper, set it in the corner. Because the paper is going to be square, or if you have a book, you can put a book there to hold it. Anything that has 4 straight edges. Alright, this is the floor. These 2 slots go in these 2 tabs here. This part goes through the door opening here, underneath of here. So if your porch floor is up too high, you're not going to get it in there. Because when you put that in, you got to make sure it's down. You can also glue this because this comes up through this slot. So you want to put your glue here. And you can glue this from underneath, and you put a little glue there if you want. But it goes down in there like that. And it goes through that opening.
Okay, so when we put this one there, we test fitted it, and these tabs are wider than the punch outs that they give you.
Yes.
So we're going to trim these up just a smidge so that they fit in here.
Just take a fraction off of it, like so.
I'm not really sure why when they did this kit that they did that, but they did the same thing with the Beacon Hill. The tabs are wider than the holes that punch out. So some of the tabs, like these little ones, like right here, I guess because of the way that their blade was when they punched it, it's not quite even, I'm not sure. But that's one of the problems you're probably going to run into. And that's an easy fix for it. Okay, so if you want to make sure that you're going to get that down all the way with the floor, you can take a small block of wood, and don't do it without the wood there though, because you'll fracture it. Just give it a couple small taps.
Right over top the tab.
And it'll push the floor down.
Some of it splintered up through there, but if you're going to cover your floors, I guess it'll be alright. Won't show.
That's because the pieces weren't wide enough. Okay, so now once you have that done, you want to take your sanding block and you want to sand those tabs flush with your floor. Otherwise, when you put your carpet down or your flooring, you'll have a bubble in it from where it's right there. Okay, now we got to put the attic floor in. That's the next step.
Second floor, attic floor, what do you call this?
The attic floor.
Attic floor, alright. You want to hold it at about a 45-degree angle. Stick it in that opening of the window. Now, it may be a little hard to get in there because this tab's got to go in here, so you have to bend this just a little bit on both sides. But first of all, get it in this tab and in this tab. And to get it into that tab, you just have to bend this floor just a little bit, like that. Okay? Now, these tabs are a little cut out a little more than have to be, so you can get it in there. See how that one's going to go in? Now, you want to bend this one out just a little bit so it goes into that hole on this side and into the tab on this side, and that's how that'll go. It also goes into this tab here, the support, this support tab.
Okay, so that's what it should look like once you have that installed. Just like that.
Yeah. So when you're trying to get these tabs in there, you want to bend this wall out just enough for that tab to slide in. You only got to bend it 1/8 of an inch. And the same way on this side, and it'll go right in. Then make sure this tab is in place. It looks a lot harder than it is.
Okay, so the directions tell us to go ahead and glue this part. Now, we're not gluing it because if it's anything like the Beacon Hill, you're going to have to be able to move things around and we'll glue it when we do it then, because
Don't forget to take the splinters out of your hand that you get from fiddling with that thing.
anyway, so we'll glue it afterwards, because the Beacon Hill, you had to be able to move some of the walls to get them in there when we did it, just because, again, the tabs don't perfectly line up, but it's not anything that you can't fix.
This is the left wall, similar to what we did over here, we're going to do here. But we had a 45-degree angle starting here or this way. So I'm going to do it this way now that I got it in place. Right there. Once again, pull this out far enough to bring the tab down. Same way over here. So that tab goes in there. And everything will be lined up. Slide your floor in. Maybe easier to bring it up to where you can manage it. And there you have it. Just got to tap it back into place. Now once again at a 45-degree angle, this time you can only go in one way, because this piece is going to stop you if you go this direction. So you got to go with the gable of the house facing the front. You want to go in there and pulling out on that part. And we come out far enough to get that over there. And far enough to get that over there. Now down the bottom here, it goes behind the front porch tab, and these two go together like so. That'll all go in. And this tab here looks like it's a little bit too wide for this slot. But we'll try to tap it a little bit and see which way it goes.
Okay, so with the lip over the edge right there.
Over the edge of the table.
You're not breaking that off. Stand the dollhouse on the side and just tap these tabs on the side down.
Now, I don't know if you have to take these off or not. We haven't got that far, because they do stick out past the end.
Yeah, they're
But as you can see, bring it over here. As you see, by putting these tabs in here, it causes a separation right here. Now, I don't know how critical that is, but it does knock it out of square. So it may be better just to shave some of these off so this thing lines up perfectly.
Okay, so to fix that little gap that makes it out of square on the front, we are taking some of this off of the holes so that our dollhouse will actually be square.
Slightly.
Okay, by doing that, we've sealed that gap right there that was in the corner. It's no longer a space there, which puts the dollhouse back being in square. Like I said, with the Greenleaf, I don't know if it's something wrong with the way that their punches are when they're cutting this out, but their tabs in the Beacon Hill and this one does not line up. I don't know if that's a standard problem with all of their kits or if it's just these two that I got, but they're definitely off. Okay, so you also want to put some glue in here. You can do it beforehand once you know it's going to fit, or you can do it afterwards and just kind of fill in that spacing around there. Okay, so at this point I went ahead and I put glue all along the bottom edge. You're going to let that dry before you move on to the next step.
It doesn't say anything about it.
Okay, so now you want to take this piece here and you want to slide this in to each of these little notches. And then it's going to hook into the tab here, and it's going to hook in here. Okay, so we had to take a little bit off of this tab here, and we had to square off this in order to make it fit. Now I'm going to take it back out, and I'm going to put some glue on it. And then I'm going to tape this to where it's square, because see how the wood just wants to move apart? So I'm going to tape it while it dries. Okay, if it doesn't want to stay square, go ahead and use a piece of masking tape in a couple different spots and hold it square. And then it'll meet up much better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put a stick pin in here to help hold this.
Yeah. The wood is not perfectly flat and straight, and it wants to pop out here and there, so we'll stick a pin in this just to hold it in place so it doesn't pop loose.
Once it's dry, we'll remove that.
On sheet 6.
Okay, on sheet 8, you're going to find the foundation part right here. Pop that out. And then you want to get foundation part B on sheet 6.
That's this.
Okay, that's going to be this piece here. Pop that out. Okay, so now you're going to take this piece here off of sheet 8 and you're going to glue it right in here. I'm just going to put it right there, back in that little tab there. And then you're going to push it down in here and align it up right there. And if you have to tap it with the block, then you can to get it to stay. Make sure you put glue on it before you do it. Okay, so now you want to take this piece and you want to set it right down in here and put some glue right up along here. Now this is D6 that I'm putting here. Put that little lip right down in there, and then the other part is just going to slide right in here. Just like that. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and pop out the back wall, which is this piece here. This is from sheet 6. Okay, so now you want to turn your dollhouse on the side. Be sure you have it hanging over something on the bottom, like the table edge or something, so that you're not going to break the front off that you've already built. And then you want to put glue in all of the spots where it's going to go. We have it going across here, here, inside this tab, inside this tab, and this tab.
And on the edge.
And on the edge of that piece. Okay, and it's all along the edge of the piece that we're going to attach. Alright, so now you're going to take that piece and you're going to line it up. Now with ours, we had to take some off of this tab right here because it was not lining up. It was totally missing this piece here. So I mean, if you're looking to buy a dollhouse kit that is perfect, these kits are thrown together with like machine cut. So if their machine goes off, I would imagine it would throw the whole thing off. So you know, you definitely have to put some time into it, and for the money of these dollhouses, I think it's okay compared to some of the other dollhouse kits that you can buy. And Greenleaf has a variety of dollhouses that you can choose from. However, you've got to put a lot more work into it. Okay, so if you're looking for a dollhouse kit that you're taking out of the box and you're just going to throw together, the Greenleaf dollhouse are not it. But if you're looking for a hobby and something to do and to be creative and have a lot of time and fun, you know, just putting it together, then this would be the way to go because it's affordable and it's a lot, or they have a lot of different varieties that you can use. Okay, so we went ahead and put masking tape on our corners and then down here to pull this inward to keep it square. And then if you guys want to check out the Beacon Hill build, it's an amazing dollhouse. It took us like 11 months to do it. Way more than the 40 hours that it said, but you know, it did turn out wonderful. So
that was inside and out.
Yes, inside and out, and that was with a basement, and that was also with a huge mountain that we did. So check that out. That's on my website. And meantime, we'll go to the next stop. Okay, so now you want to go to sheets 5 and 6 and remove the pieces for the window.
Sheet 7.
Okay, so you need this one, not this one just yet. Okay, so that's going to be this one here, next on sheet 7.
And the trim will...
And then the trim will be right next to it.
What time do we start?
Okay, so Once you have all the pieces cut out on the side for the window, we're going to show you how to put these together, but we are actually not going to use these because we're going to add an addition to this dollhouse.
Oh, so meanwhile, the way this does go together, if you are putting it together, hold it on an angle, and just like the above part that we did on an angle, it goes up on the angle like so, and then up as far as it'll go on both sides, like that. But you may want to put the good side up or bad, whatever side you want to put on the inside of your dollhouse. It don't make much difference. But I'm sure it's going to get painted or whatever. So once you tilt it up and you slide that in and up, the curved part goes up. Slide at the bottom. I'm just test fitting it, so you may want to glue it.
Okay, so before you glue it, you want to slide this piece here in there, and then put these actually back onto it once you have it fitted.
You got to put those in from the inside, like that. Stick the bottom in and then slide the top up, like that.
Okay, and then that's how you would install this bay window. But like I said, I'm going to put a little addition on the side of this because I just want to. So I'm going to take this off and we're not going to use this part. Maybe we might add it to the addition, I'm not sure, but for this side of the house, I'm not going to add it here.
But don't glue these until you put this in.
Yeah, don't glue these until this is here. And then make sure you do glue it afterwards and glue it all down. And then the top pieces go together as well.
You may have to bend this just a little bit to get it to fit in these slots. Unless you slide it in from the inside, you can slide this to the outside, then put these pieces in.
Okay, so sheet 3 and 5, you're going to need the small bay parts, which I've already pre-punched out because I grabbed them by mistake the first time. Okay.
Small bay side, sheet 3 and 5. This is sheet 5. A whole list, what's written right here. Alright, part D, the small bay. 2 small bay sides are on sheet 3 and sheet 5. Small bay middle is on sheet 3. Small bay support trim is on sheet 5. 2 small bay brackets are on sheet 2 and sheet A. Top support is on sheet 4. Bottom support is on sheet 7. And the base is on sheet 3.
Get all those pieces out. Alright, so once you have all your pieces, you want to go ahead and test fit them for the window to make sure they're all going to fit before you glue them. After you have all your pieces, go ahead and align some glue right on the inner part of the window. Put this in at a 45 like we did the top. Set it in there like that. You want to put some glue right up along the top of here as well. So I'm going to have to pause it and turn upside down for it. Alright, so now I've got some glue there. It's a little messy, so I'm going to go ahead and help fix that a little bit. Be careful when you're rubbing the glue that you don't end up getting a splinter. Had a few today. Alright, now you're going to put this one in the same way at a 45 and push it up in there like that. You can wipe off any excess glue that squeezes out using a popsicle stick, or you can use one of those little shopping cards that you get when you go to the grocery store, and that'll do it too. Okay, next thing, I'm going to go ahead and align some glue right along here, here, up here, and here. And I'm going to put some right there, and right there, there. Then I'm going to put the bottom in, or you can put the top in, it doesn't matter. make sure the round part is up. Okay, you have a flat part and you have a round part. The round part needs to go to the top and the flat part needs to go to the bottom. Again, you want to put a little bit of glue here, here. Do that with both of them. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and insert that window in over on the right side. It'll take a little bit of fooling with, but it does go in there. Right, do the same thing we just did there to this side. Okay, so once you have that in, you want to make sure you squeeze it good and tight together. I'm going to apply some glue right along the top of each of these just so it can seep down in there a little bit more. You might want to use a rag to rub the glue off so that you don't get the splinters in case you didn't sand it all the way. Do the same thing with the bottom and I'll show you how to put the next part on. Okay, now for the bottom part, you want to go ahead and take this piece here and you want to put some glue on it and we're going to slide it right in there. Pick what side you want to do. Like if you have splinters or whatever, then you probably want to put that up. They're both the same, so it doesn't matter which one you do. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue right along there like that. And then I'm going to put some right along here. And then for the tabs, I'm going to put some on the bottom of the tabs. Right there. That's going to slide right in there. You're going to want to clamp it or tape it to hold it in place so that it doesn't come out. Okay, also you're going to take your little swirly things that they came with and you want to put some glue on them. This part is going to go up inside there. So you have to put it up in this hole here and then it goes into that. That'll help hold it a little bit, but you'll want to put some tape or something on it to make sure you have it good and secure. Okay, again, we're going to put that up in there. Put that down in there. Wipe off any excess glue that you may have. You need to have a popsicle stick handy with a cut edge. That'll get into those corners really easily for you. Okay, once that's dry, then you can remove the tape. I put the tape here and I'm just pulling that inward and hooking it onto the inside. That's just going to keep that a nice tight seal. If you have a big enough clamp, you can clamp it on the inside and there, and that'll clamp it too. But the tape will work, or you can use a stick pin. Okay, so now you want to take your top trim and you want to go ahead and put some glue right along that. And then your top trim is going to go in here. But also I'm going to put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue here. Okay, push that right even with that and then hold it there and then put a piece of tape on it to hold it down until it dries. Because that'll hold it against this so that you get that nice tight seal. Okay, now at this point you want to go back and you want to remove any glue anywhere else. If you want to go ahead and put a bead of glue along here, you can. And then later on, if you're going to do an exterior finish on your dollhouse, you can look at the tutorial on how to finish this, where you don't see these seams without having to do anything. I did the Beacon Hill. You can look at that one and see how I did it there, or you can wait until I get to that stage in this tutorial. Alright, look in the inside of it and make sure there's no glue seeping out. If you want, when you remove the tape, you can put a line of glue very thin. Make sure you don't have it bulged out, or it's going to mess up when you go to finish the inside edge with the way I do it. So you can put a little bit, just thin it out against the wall and make sure you don't have a glob there. Okay, so that's what that will look like. Okay, so I told you we were going to take and add an addition onto this house, so we had to cut this piece off. We just took the blade and cut it off, and now Dad's just shaping it up a little bit using the knife going across there. So we've eliminated that, and it kind of made a doorway for us. It's a very large doorway, but a doorway. Okay, so that's what it looks like without that one there. And remember, we cut that off of there, and we just used a blade. It's best to cut it from the bottom if you're going to cut it. And we just kept scoring it really lightly until it popped off. And then we broke it toward the bottom so that it splintered at the bottom and not the top. And then we cut the rest of it with that and sanded it. So if you don't want to add one, add the window. If you do want to add one, you'll have to take that piece off. Alright, sheet 7, you need to take out this big piece. Okay, so when I went to remove this from the sheet, I guess from being in the box or whatever, this end piece was damaged. So I had to put some masking tape on the back of it, and now I'm going to glue all these pieces back on there and try to make it work. Okay, so what we did is we refilled it and put it in there like that. Now we're going to put another piece of tape on top of that after we glued it. So if you run into that problem, this is how you can fix it. Glue it all back together, put a piece of tape on top, and let it dry. Okay, so I put the tape down this way. Dad had it going the other way. When it's dry, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off. And then I'm not even going to remove it off of that area because it's kind of bumpy. So I'll just cut it completely off, and then we'll put the shingles over top of it. But that's how we would fix that. And, you know, it was broken before I even touched it to try to take it out. But that's just what you get when you buy the kit like this. Okay, so now you need to pop out this real big piece on sheet 8. That's going to be the back part of the roof. And then sand it down. Okay, so now you need to pop this piece out of 8. Be very careful when you get to this corner here, because that will snap off really easy. Okay, so a tip for popping this out is when it's in here and you have it underneath, use something like your pliers or whatever and just press it lightly here, here, and then up here, and then come back and then do the rest of it. Okay, now go ahead and pop out these pieces off of sheet 3. Use your pliers at the tip so you don't have them fall out. Okay, so now you want to cut out your roof, or punch out your roof truss. Okay, so now you want to take your front piece and you're going to want to slide it up underneath of here. Okay, and then glue it. And there's a clamp or a notch right there that has to fit into there with the tab. Okay, so you hook them onto there. Okay, so when we put this on here, this tab was not lining up with this. It was dropping down too far and the roof was crooked. So we had to take out a little bit of underneath of this tab here, or that little notch out, so it would slide up further to make this tab match. My guess is if it was a mistake in the, like a shift in the cutting process, all of them that were done in this lot probably are like that. So the easy fix is just take a little bit of this out and it'll slide right up and fit up in there.
If it don't, then you have to take some off of here so it'll slide up.
Yeah, off of the bottom and the top there. Alright, now you want to go ahead and put some glue on there. Once you know it fits. We always have issues because I leave the glue open. Alright, so there we go. Now it's coming out. Be careful if you run your finger up on there that it doesn't come off with splinters. Again, you don't want to use the hot glue because it will mess up when you're doing the wallpaper. And the kit directions tell you to do the wallpaper before you finish it. But again, I don't do that because I like the better edge, or I like the better like finish, so I do it when it's all completed. That way you don't see where the corners are joined and stuff. Okay, so at this point you have to put these up in here. Alright, so I went ahead and put a bead of glue across the back.
How about here?
Oh, yeah, and you want to put some right along here, which I forgot to do. Go back. Put this in here. I knew I was forgetting something. And then slide it up there. Don't lock this part in here yet. Alright? Now you want to do the same thing to the other side. Alright. Put it up underneath of this thing. And then you want to slide it up into here. It's a little tricky, but that's why they tell you not to lock the bottom in just yet. Okay, if you can't get it in there, take a hammer and just tap it lightly to tap it up in there. Okay, and then you can come back to this side and do the same thing.
Right here.
And then you want to put the corners in. Have someone help you push it from the outside and the inside to join them.
Once you get it in there, it should go. Okay, now you can run a bead of glue down it.
Make sure that
And
side's
across the
in.
ridge. Hold it
Okay,
tight
so
and
now that
close.
you have a gap until that glue dries, take some of your masking tape, put it in here,
Push it
hold it
together.
snug, and then tape it until it dries. Do it on there and then do it on this side as well. Okay, so go ahead and run a bead of glue down here, across the top, and then tape it there, and then a bead down there. Alright, so once you put your bead of glue on there, you want to take a rag and go down it like that to make sure it's smooth on here and on here. Okay, and then you want to put some across the top, and then you want to tape it, and also you want to do a rag as well. The rag helps smooth out the glue so that you don't have a big old gunk of glue where your shingles won't stick. Okay, so you want to put some masking tape across here, some here to help hold that there, and across like that. Okay, just so you can keep it all pretty much together while it dries, along with the stuff inside to keep it pulled that way until it dries. Okay, so now you want to take your roof supports and you want to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on there.
Oh, that was nice. Where's the hole?
Yeah,
Look
in
at
case
it.
you missed that, the lid Dad didn't put on when he refilled it. Alright, redo. Let's try this again. Alright, you want to go ahead and put some glue right along there. And then right back here.
And a
Okay?
little bit right there.
And a little bit right up in here. And you want to go ahead and push this down in here.
Where's the other one?
Then you want to lift the roof up a little, or the floor up just a little bit. You want to make sure you got it tapped back in there.
You gotta watch it. You're just pulling this wall in.
Well, maybe you shouldn't tap it so far. I guess their notch isn't even. Alright, so now you want to do the same thing to this side.
Might have to take it out.
Okay, so what Dad did is he took a little bit out of the floor here. So when we pushed it back, it didn't pull this piece here in. And now these are straight.
Yeah, because it has a tendency when you push this back, it wants to bend this wall inward like that.
Okay,
Then this might not work right.
so now we're going to go ahead and do the top. Okay, so now you want to go ahead and put some glue along your edge here, here, and here. Because then we're going to be putting the back part on. Okay, and one thing we did run into is we had a big gap on the one side and nothing on the other side. So what we did is we cut up into here to modify it right up into this side here to make the roof meet flat against each other. And then down here we took a little bit off of each of these tabs so that it would slide up and meet.
It comes out even.
Now it's even. Alright, so now you want to take this piece and you want to slide it up underneath of here. And then put the tabs inside of there. Okay? So the next step would be to take this center piece that looks kind of like a triangle with arms on it and put some glue here, 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 and here, and then along the front of the tab and the back of the tab. And we're going to slide that right up in here. Unfortunately, you can't see that, but that's where that's going to go.
But you got to put tape on it.
Yeah, once you get this up in here, you want to tape it. Okay, so I put tape here and here to hold the roof together until it dries. But now we've got equal amounts on the top that we have on each side. This piece is inside there, it's glued. We have this little attic up here, and then all of the rest of it. So let me turn it real quick so you can kind of get an idea, because then the next part is going to be a different video. This is just the basic getting it together kind of dollhouse part. Again, we took the bottom part of that out because we're putting an addition on right there. You don't have to do that, you can just install the window. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and follow part 2 to see how this turns out. And don't forget to like and subscribe below, and leave a comment, question, or suggestion as well. And also check out my website, because I've got free furniture templates on there and tutorials to go with all of them. And that's under Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials.com or dollhousetutorials.com.
These instructions are a little vague in certain parts of it. They could have made a little bit more information on there to putting it together. And we started on this around 11 o'clock, and it's now 5 after 5. So that's 6 hours just to get this far. And that's popping it off of the sheets. You jump from one sheet to the other sheet, then back to another sheet. And I understand they're trying to save money, but it would be a lot easier if they could put them all on the same sheet with the same pieces.
Yeah, like step 1, have everything for step 1 on one sheet, everything for step 2 on, another sheet. Another thing is, the blades and stuff, when they punch these out, they're very, I guess, dull or off-centered. I'm not really sure, because a lot of the tabs don't line up. This kit lined up better than the Beacon Hill did. It's also smaller. So, I mean, other than this window down here, which we didn't put together because I'm doing an addition, it actually went together a lot faster.
Here's a good, for instance, what I was talking about the sheets. Gable and finial trim. 6 gable trims on sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 5, and 3 finials on sheet 3, sheet 4, and sheet 8.
So you have to go to a bunch of different sheets just to get one piece.
Back and forth. Yeah.
And they probably did it that way just so they could fit them all in like a puzzle piece, so they could save money on printing it. I mean, and for the price of the Greenleaf dollhouses, it's not a bad deal. But you get what you pay for, obviously, and you get a lot of splinters with this kind of wood. It's very thin.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that if you're going to do a Greenleaf dollhouse, that you understand what's involved in doing a Greenleaf dollhouse. It's not something you're going to buy and you're just going to be able to put together. It's not that simple. The first dollhouse we did was the Beacon Hill dollhouse, and that dollhouse was enormous. I mean, you can go on my website again and see it. But if you look at the finished product when we got done doing it, it turned out great. Now, we did use like our own tutorials and stuff like that to do the windows, and we did the doors and everything all on our own. So with that being said, I mean, I guess basically we used their shingles and their siding, and then we used their actual kit and like the wall kits and stuff. So I mean, that wasn't bad, but I really wish that it was put together a little bit nicer, like the plywood was punched out nicer, because it is affordable. The next dollhouse I get is not going to be a Greenleaf just because of that. I did this dollhouse because I bought it at the same exact time I bought the Beacon Hill. So I wasn't sure about the Beacon Hill. I was like, oh, let's start small. And then somehow or another, I just started with the big one first and didn't even do the little one that I was planning on doing first. So the next dollhouse kit I get, I want to try the Real Good Toys. They look like the quality is made really, really nice. You don't have to put any of the siding on it or anything. It's already on there. You just have to paint it. But for a hobbyist, you know, and the people who want to put that on there, obviously, or if you want to do a different finish other than the siding on the side of it, then you're going to want to get something that has a flat surface, not something that's already, you know, pre-sided.
We found out with the Beacon Hill dollhouse, when punching out the windows and the doors and the window trim and the outside trim, it was much quicker to make them yourself out of basswood that you can purchase. So the other few dollars more to make your windows, it was much more convenient, and it looked 100% better.
Yeah, it did. And again, you can check out that dollhouse and a lot of photos of that dollhouse on my Facebook page, or you can check it out on my website. Either way, it's listed on there. But for this dollhouse, we're going to continue, and it's very small, as you can see. It's not even anything close to the Beacon Hill. I mean, I can actually pick this up. The Beacon Hill, when I stand next to it, I'm as tall as it is with the basement and everything. This one, we're going to add the addition on this side, so you have to come back and watch for that. And then the inside, we're going to go ahead and finish up as well. I'm not really sure exactly everything I'm going to do in here, but I'm thinking like a 50s themed diner is what I'm thinking. It's supposed to be a storybook cottage, so maybe you want to make it into like a little storybook cottage. I don't know. I just thought a 50s diner would be cool. But, you know, that's basically, if you're going to buy one of these kits, it's worth the money because, you know, it's reasonable and most people can afford it. But you're not going to buy it and put it together in one day, I can tell you that. This one, like he said, we've been working on it all day, and as the frame of the wall and everything is up, and this is a very, very small dollhouse, I mean, I can pick it up, it still doesn't have any of the wallpaper in there. It doesn't have the carpeting, the flooring, anything like that is done. None of the windows have been sanded. None of the doors have been sanded, so that's all stuff that we have to do yet. Now, we may actually end up making our own again. I'm not sure until I get to those and see how they look. If they're anything like the Beacon Hill, then we probably won't use them, just because the wood is very, very hard to work with. But there is also a tutorial on my page that shows you how you could fill it in using some Elmer's like color changing wood filler. It's really good stuff. So if you don't want to make your own windows and you do want to use theirs, there is a way to fix them. It's just a matter of how much time you really want to put into it.
The corbels on the Beacon Hill and most of the trim that went under the eaves of the Beacon Hill, we found it easier to buy molding at Home Depot and cut it up into 1/4 inch widths or 3/16 width and put that on there, because you'd be a month just sanding them little pieces down and filling them.
Yeah.
So don't start on this thing if you're only going to spend a half hour on it.
Yeah, definitely it's a project. The Beacon Hill took us 11 months to do it from start to finish. That was with doing the dollhouse, making the windows and everything ourselves, and then it was also building the basement and adding the addition onto the Beacon Hill. Without those items, I would probably say it would probably have taken us at least 6.5 months to do it. I mean, maybe even more, I'm not really sure. But we just wanted to give you like a kind of a quick little update and info. So if you want to build a dollhouse, start small, you know. Like I said, the Beacon Hill, I bought that when I bought this one. And I'm not saying I would never buy another Greenleaf dollhouse again, but I definitely would try to have something that took a lot less time with sanding and stuff and splinters. You know, the splinters is a big thing. You get a lot of splinters with this wood.
Here's a good, for instance, on popping these things out that are decorator pieces. They chip off the ends. There's no way to repair those chips.
Yeah.
And if you fill it in, you're going to have to sand 90% of what you put on there off. So this is, you know, something you have to deal with.
Right. So, you know, I mean, if you're going to do it, just know that you're not buying a kit that's perfect. You're buying a kit for the money that is affordable. And the Beacon Hill, like I said, was a great dollhouse when we got done with it, even though we did have to put a lot of work into it and we had to build a lot of stuff from scratch, which was fine because I got to spend time with my dad, and pretty much every weekend has been dollhousing. So he's not watching any TV anymore, and he missed the football game today for this, so that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a good game. Oh, but anyway, don't forget to follow us on Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials.com, or you can check out dollhousetutorials.com. Same website, easier to get to. And like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the website, because we do free templates and free furniture tutorials with the free templates to go with it, with all the measurements and everything on there. And if you want to see how this turns out, you're going to have to subscribe, because I'm not going to come hunting you down. You're going to just have to subscribe so you can see it. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching, and have a great weekend. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials.com. Also, check us out on Facebook, Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials, and on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel because we post videos all the time. And leave a comment, question, or suggestion, because we love hearing from you. And if you like Pinterest, we have tons of pens on there as well under Laurie Holden Heisler. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.